Welcome back to the State Farm Analyst Desk, where we're gearing up for a huge fight in the race for the quarterfinals. Hanwha Life Esports versus a surging Fnatic, who have already taken down their toughest opponent of the day in RNG. RNG already through. That's important to note for everybody. So there's just one more spot that these other three teams are fighting for. Hanwha Life, though, as much as we say Fnatic are surging, I think are still riding a high from their first win of the day. And so it's going to be interesting to see how these two teams match up. But let's start with Fnatic.
Yes.
Yes.
Melt this one game as long as humanly possible, because it was a great game. It was euphoric. It was everything you wanted. Bwipo on the Viego was a pleasure to watch. It was controlled. We highlighted it in the previous segment, but if you missed it, Fnatic are a team that when they trust each other, when they play well together and everyone commits for some engages that sometimes might look a little bit crazy, this is the peak level of the team. The fact that they're able to do this with Bean is big. And it's a big day for Fnatic, but that was one of 3 must-win games. They have to keep that momentum going as they move forward into the day.
Yeah, like they said, one game at a time. I think they're zeroed in, especially the last team fights that we were seeing here going up against RNG. They were playing at their best. It's exciting. If you're a Fnatic fan, you're looking at Nisqy carrying that C9 Nisqy load, of course, inspired what happened in Group A. It's happening. It's happening, Draco.
Look at Raz over there trying to steal a little credit.
Raz, just trying to steal Nisqy. I didn't come out here and go, Zhao, no fear, Amadaga.
I was hearing G2 perks. Okay, I'm just putting it out there. We got to even the playing field a little bit.
That's fair. That's
fair.
No,
I think it was an incredibly important call out on Bwipo in the jungle, but I think it is no surprise that in this specific matchup, we would actually give him very much the edge, and that's why I like to focus on Nisqy in the matchup here against Chovy, right? We've already seen what Chovy can do in the first game of the day on the TF, getting involved early in the skirmishes to great effect while still building a CS advantage for himself.
And that's the impressive part, is that the fact that he's playing a supportive role in the previous game on the Twisted Fate, being able to win the matchup, it's expected really early on versus the Silas. But also, I think for me, what's surprising is that he was able to come out ahead. Huge team fights around Willer and Vista's skirmishes that was happening around him. They're playing towards him and they're succeeding.
Absolutely are. And I think that he is still a force to be reckoned with. I think Twisted Fate is a pick that we have to keep our eye on, because you heard previously in the LeBlanc versus Ryze matchup, Nisqy was very confident. If I just keep farming, I will eventually be stronger. Cryan, I also think, made some kind of uncharacteristic mistakes, leaping directly into the CC. You can't immediately go back. You need a bit of a delay before you can hop back. So Chovy is, I think, or has been at least on another level, and this is a lot of pressure on Nisqy to again perform and for the team to draft him a matchup where he can be comfortable.
As well, too, just again, comparing the two games that both teams have played today, early game for each of them, right? For Fnatic, well, it was a way more back and forth, right? Every time they picked up a couple kills, they kind of gave a few back, but they did definitely have a lot, or rather put in a lot of work early in the game. But same thing can be said for Hanwha Life. So, Raz, only one team can come out ahead in the early game this time around.
Yeah, and it's about the quality of the skirmishes and the wins. And when Fnatic was going back and forth, they were going up against RNG, and they were doing it against a strong team fighting team and exploiting what was a weakness in in Cryan. And so it's pretty damn good. Of course, we're seeing the stats of Hanwha Life overall because
versus
they are
PSG earlier today.
Yeah, and so like Hanwha Life were able to perform. They've had insane team fights. Early game was fantastic.
Absolutely, and I think what's important to note here is that this was, again, the full court press for Hanwha Life Esports. True. Every single lane was winning, even top lane that we highlighted as a potential weakness. And I think top lane is something that we do need to briefly hit on, because while we highlighted earlier, Adam did a good job once he got the opportunity to perform after a very difficult early game. You might not get another shot like that if your bot side does not pop off as much as they did in that game versus RNG.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a good recovery by him after a poor early game. 4 times honors for mental fortitude, for staying cool up there in the top lane. But definitely, once you take a look at what Morgan did earlier today, while we did have questions about it, winning out in the Renekton versus Graves matchup almost entirely alone, you got to wonder, again, if you give those advantages to Hanwha early, will they be able to press them?
Yeah, and I know what Morgan can do, because when he was in China, he actually performed quite well on his specific matchups. Of course, he had a pretty poor year with Hanwha Life. But looking at today's work that he's been putting in on the Renekton, have faith in how he's going up against Adam here. So Adam just needs to perform better. If he can be a stable rock in the, for his team, then he's going to be able to match up versus Morgan.
Yeah, and obviously Renekton's a pick that most people, I think, don't find very strong, and I tend to agree. But if you can weather the storm, if you can get to level 6 without losing too much, he's still a threat, he's still a force to be reckoned with. And like any champion in League of Legends, if he gets ahead, if he's ahead of where he's supposed to be, he is still something that has to be respected. That said, it's interesting if we see something again like the Renekton. Adam is known for a small but very potent champion pool. The meme before he really grew or came into his own in the LEC was that it was like Renekton, Darius, Olaf.
Yeah.
He is ready for these kind of matchups. He has so much experience in these kind of matchups. I don't think if he needs to counterpick, he's going to have a lot of creative options, and that is going to make things a lot more difficult for Morgan.
Yeah, and I think something that we've been seeing throughout the first week into this one is, of course, just the value of Twisted Fate. Twisted Fate being the first pick from Hanwha Life, and overall, I think yeah, Adam's been getting bullied. Even when he gets on his Olaf pick, RNG just went topside in week 1 with 3 members, and he was susceptible to gank.
He went topside in game 2 of the day.
True.
Level
Again,
2, Gragas Sin.
Right. So I mean, if we talk about maybe a slight expectation that Hanwha will come out ahead rather in the laning phase. Again, we have those CSDs at 10 across all 3 lanes plus the jungle in game number 1. I think the man you got to look at again is Bwipo. Right. He is so much the catalyst for what happens early for Fnatic. And one of my favorite plays still within this entire tournament was the early red side. It was first round robin, but the Graves jungle taking over red side, flashing across mid lane to take the blue side jungle as well. That's the kind of stuff that I think he's going to have to show to wrestle a little control away from Hanwha and maybe turn things in Fnatic's favor.
And I think it's important to note, while Hanwha did win out across the lanes, also they drafted for success. They had the Aphelios Thresh on the bottom side to get a lead. They had the TF into Stylus. You expect him to win in the early game. So it's not just like Hanwha went into 50-50 matchups and outclassed everywhere. There is still some room, but I think the Bwipo highlight is so important because he was, to me, the biggest carry force in the game. And there are not a lot of junglers right now that can do that. While Viego has had some hits to his numbers, that passive, as long as you keep fighting and getting value out of that passive, that champion is ludicrously OP. But if you don't have the Viego, what is the next option for Fnatic? Because it's hard to find that same set, that same kit, those same tools in any other champion.
Yeah, and even in the losses that they had in week 1, I was pretty happy about just Bwipo's overall performance and how efficient he was pathing. So that's just something that I could see inspiration from. And if he doesn't have the Viego, Lee Sin, I know it's been banned, but seeing how both these players, I think Willer is a little bit better of a Lee Sin overall throughout this tournament. But if, it seems like Fnatic is going to be getting on blue side.
That's what I was about to say. We're already talking about it. Let's keep going on the Champions-like discussion. Fnatic does get blue side this time around. So is that the kind of priority that you would want to see placed on a pick like Viego if he's left up, that it's actually first picked?
I mean, it's hard because ultimately there are a lot of champions that are more powerful in the meta right now than Viego.
Yeah.
But to me,
if TS up, do you really take that for Nisqy over the Viego?
If you show me any draft for Viego's first pick, I'd say that that team in the context of the meta was probably foolish. But in the context of the first game that we saw today for Fnatic, I would respect it. Now, I'd still rather say, the question to me ultimately is there any first pick worth trading to give Viego over to the side of Hanwha Life Esports? Because Willer also playing well on it, has a good win record on it. And yeah, there are a few, but I don't want a Yumi.
I think TF.
TF. I'll take TF.
I think TF.
TF would be really valuable. I think Hanwha Life, as on red side, have a little bit of an advantage because they can think about giving Yumi away, and I wouldn't want Hylissang on Yumi. I think he's just too good of a playmaker.
All right, well, there you have it. Fnatic are looking to continue their comeback in Group C as they face off against HLE in the race for quarterfinals. Freak, Lyric, welcome to the cast, and take it away.
Thank you very much, Dash. Hello, and welcome to the Cast Desk. We are here to bring you all the rest of the games today. There's a chance we get some Fnatic runs at tiebreakers to make it out. Lyric, this is going to be a fun day.
Yeah, I mean, the day's already been a little bit all over the place. At the start, it looked like maybe we'd get every team ending at 3-3. Obviously, broken by RNG's last win, but still a lot of potential scenarios available with all teams kind of all over the place today.
Yeah, it's anyone's games. Obviously, we know RNG has made it through. But across the other 3 teams, Hanwha Life, Fnatic, and PSG Talon, any one of those teams can be the second team through in the group. And what's wild is there's some history to tell here, okay? We got our props from Cloud9 back in week 1. Thank you to the LEC cast for telling that story over again. I believe Medic gave us, the due props. But Fnatic, this is their 11th international showing at MSI or Worlds. They have failed in groups across all the showings exactly once. And that was 7 years ago. There are years and years and years and years of unbroken of Fnatic making it through no matter what group, no matter what opponents, no matter what's been going on. They have made it happen. Problem is, this game is do or die. then the next game they play is do or die.
And it's, you were also telling me earlier, right? LEC never going 0-6. Luckily, Fnatic did correct that earlier. So keeping that trend going, I definitely think Fnatic, especially we were watching the Nisqy interview earlier, having a ton of confidence coming into the day. They realized, hey, he made it sound simple. We just got to play like a team. We can't play as individuals, especially when you're going up against Hanwha Life Esports. That has been where they thrive. The desk was talking a little bit about their last matchup. Fnatic had an amazing early game. They invaded the red level 1, cut through both turrets into the opposite side jungle. It really just felt like Hanwha stayed the course. They got leads in every lane, and that's how they were able to pull through.
Question is, how well does Hanwha Life play through Chovy? That Yasuo comp was exciting. It was a lot of fun. I wonder if they bring anything like that back here, or if we get the Fnatic that we saw early in the day, the Fnatic that took down Royal Never Give Up. I went and looked back, because I didn't watch every LEC game. I wasn't 100% up to date on everything Fnatic had done. Did you know every single Fnatic player was top 3 All-Pro in the LEC this split? You know, and I've seen both sides from fans online. They're like, oh, it's doomed, you know, upset's not here, last minute sub, that's gonna be tough. I've seen the other side where it's like, this is not the Fnatic I know. Bwipo's aggressive, Adam's aggressive. Adam was the second All-Pro top laner in his rookie split. Like, these guys should be popping off. We didn't see it week 1. We are seeing it today.
Yeah, and you're even seeing adaptation coming out from them today from their last time around. Of course, Chovy did play that Yasuo up against him last time into the Rise matchup. With the bans, I really like the Twisted Fate first pick coming out for Fnatic. We know Nisqy loved all of these roaming champions and these playmakers in the LEC. Twisted Fate was his second most played champion, but now this is going to open up, I think, for a very aggressive mid-jungle 2v2 to come out from this side of Hanwha. Already going with the LeBlanc. And I mean, the Viego priority for this group is just rising out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's a good takeaway. Obviously, Bwipo, it was a core pick for him. We'd seen the self-made or the inspired runs as well. Like, that was awesome during the LEC playoffs. But yeah, this one gets taken over, and immediately I'm looking at mid lane a lot, right? Because Nisqy doesn't want to lane. Nisqy's strengths are getting the hell out of mid lane and helping his teammates out, and that's great. Like, I think back on Cloud9 as well, watching him as he dominated the LCS with that team, Twisted Fate was a core pick there as well, not only just in Europe, but back in North America, getting out of the lane, helping everyone else. That is his biggest strength for me as a player, and Chovy is the kind of guy who's going to really try to lock you in the lane and just never let you leave.
Yeah, and I feel like this is going to be super important going into this game now that we have this bot lane matchup. Last time around, Hanwha banned out Hylissang Rakan in the first 3 picks. It's been his standout pick over in the LEC, gives you a ton of playmaking. Kdra was hitting on it earlier in the day about how it is an easy champion to lock down if you do get a hard CC support on the opposite side. Yeah. But I'm seeing a lot of power coming out from the Fnatic bottom lane and a nice Twisted Fate pick to enable it.
Yeah, and the question is, where does Twisted Fate go? And through that lens, I actually kind of like the Renekton pick here on Red 3. The idea being that as I watch Hanwha Life play, they're good at playing mid-bot and like having that be happening and just letting Morgan sit isolated weak side. It is hard to get Renekton into a spot where you can kill him in a 1v1. Like, he's lane dominant. They don't care if Morgan's going to be great late game. They don't care about how his gank setup got nerfed, because he's not going to be a gank setup kind of player. He is there to make sure top lane is fine, and Chovy and Deft and Willer win the game.
And it makes me wonder if on the side of HLE, okay, well, there we go. They ban out the Graves. You still have a lot of things that I think can play up into that Renekton, though. The Cannon's still on the table. We know when we're watching Adam, you always have to be conscious of something like the Olaf coming out. I've seen he has played that matchup before as well. So I definitely think Fnatic do have answers to this Renekton. And, you know, funny throwback for anyone who didn't watch Morgan when he was in the LPL, was pretty much a Renekton one-trick on Team W. He was the best champion by far, played it almost every game. So at least very proficient, very much a comfort champion for him. And now for the side of Hanwha, looks like we are going to go with a bit of comfort for Deft, bringing out the Ezreal. I really like what HLE put together so far. You have the strong mid-jungle. You can look to enable that Renekton, though Adam does have counter pick. And Deft will be fine just chilling in the bot lane if they decide to lock this one in.
Ezreal locked in. Interestingly, a champion you often pick up when you want to ignore your bottom lane and just let Vsta go somewhere else and just let, you know, Deft land some farm. I know if your skill shot accuracy is good, you are a bit of a late game carry. And obviously you can get away from bullet times, but not going for a highly priced pick as there have been so many bans. He's not getting anything from the top 5. So, okay, we move on. And Zhao going to be the lock-in here for Bwipo. Has not been winning a lot of worlds, 35%, not exactly high, but with Viego gone and you know, Lee Sin and arguably Graves at the table, the pool is somewhat pinched.
Yeah, and I love the Orianna hover coming out right now. This is something that RNG would possibly do. I don't expect it from Fnatic. We did hit on the Olaf, and we are getting that one from Adam. We'll do fine in this lane up against Renekton, and now I really think Fnatic do have options, right? You have a very aggressive bot lane that can look for these engages. You also have this Olaf that you can play around in top side, and once again for Fnatic, the name of the game is like early game skirmishing.
So this is going to be interesting because, yeah, early game skirmishing can be powerful. The only difficulty I have here is how are you going to get through the Renekton with the double dash? I don't feel you can, like, force that kill. And he's not locking anyone down from the top side. I know he's good at the champion. It's in his pool. I like Olaf as a pick overall. I think he is underutilized in pro play. I'm just not sure what it's going to do in this comp as everyone on the Hanwha Life side can get away from him, right? If you've got a misfortune, yeah, Olaf's chunking you down and it's flash or die. Ezreal's like, I'll start getting off the wall, bro.
Yeah, that's why I do feel like later in the game, it's going to be exactly what you're saying. It will be quite hard for the Olaf to find an impact. I think in the early game, though, I look at Fnatic's draft. You should have Prio in the bot lane so Hilly can start roaming up towards top side. Of course, you're going to have the Destiny coming out through mid, so maybe a lot of four-man plays coming out from Fnatic on the top half of the map. For HLE early, I really think it's just a lot about covering, maybe looking to find impact with the mid-jungle 2v2 with both Viego and LeBlanc, and then using that to try to cover that top side. Then we get into mid-game where we do have all that mobility that you just hit on for Hanwha Life.
All right, well, this is a do-or-die battle for Fnatic. If you lose, you can no longer keep up with RNG and Hanwha Life, and your chances at Worlds are over. The best you can do is end on a win against PSG and say, well, we got 2 wins for Europe. We'll see you next year. Do or die for Fnatic. That is the important part here. For Hanwha Life, it looks real good at the win. You take control second for a while. You see if PSG Talon can keep up with you later on in the day. Obviously, a win can feel good, but not elimination with a loss for Hanwha Life. Now, worth noting, as we talk about this, again, Fnatic, in their 11 international appearances, have failed in groups exactly once, and they do have control of their own destiny. I do believe on that one. That said, neither Deft nor Chovy have ever failed in groups either. They have been incredible, long-term international superstars. Back in the days of Samsung Alpaca, he was the best bot laner in the world to me, Deft in 2014. Still here swinging for the fences. I
mean, he won the first MSI over there with Edward Gaming. So Deft, especially, definitely very storied career. I think has also looked pretty good at Worlds. For HLE, a lot of people were coming in hyping up Chovy. You know, it was due. His laning phases have been amazing, but I think Deft has been the one to step up and have consistent good performances. I mean, you were talking about this earlier on in the day. I think both Willer and Vsta as well have looked quite good. Vista's been having a lot of impact on the map, and Willer, who I know the LCK casters were saying could be a bit disconnected at times, has been playing around all of his lanes pretty well.
He has. I've actually been really impressed with Willer. It's his rookie split too. Like he, like Adam, joined this split into pro play. You know, out of you know, functionally Challenger series and in both kind of regards. And Adam, again, second all-pro top laner in the LEC. That's impressive. And Willer, I think, has grown quickly. I know a lot of people's read on him was, oh, he's going to be kind of a weak link. It's like Chovy and half the time Deft, and that's kind of it for Hanwha Life. But Willer really has been very good, and a lot of why Hanwha Life, I mean, they could easily go 4-2 to end this group and look really solid heading into quarters.
Interestingly enough, we see Fnatic going for an invade. They are going to start enemy blue. Doesn't look like Hanwha will have an idea of this happening. They don't have any aggressive wards of their own, only a ward covering their own Raptors, so maybe Deft will spot it out right now, but curious to see what Fnatic are going to do, and we talked about some of the options they have about playing around towards that top side. Yep. But for now, it is just going to be a bit of a split map.
Yeah, so Bwipo, of course, gets a light leash. Bean and Hylissang managed to not be spotted on their way back in the lane. They did not miss XP. Just barely, I think Hylissang's able to W into range to get one of those melee minions, so they didn't betray their pathing. And in fact, now we're seeing Willer ping, I'm on the way to bot side, so he's doing the pretty standard Raptors red, actually doing Wolf, so he won't be level 3, and he's just going to lose the Gromp in the blue, and Bwipo's just out.
Yeah, and Bwipo going to find such a massive EXP lead coming from this. And ooh, Freak, we're already getting a level 2 gank.
He's on a ward. They got to turn away right now. Level 2 just got hit. That is huge because Deft, okay, good flash by Vsta. That minion gave Deft level 2 and could have made him an easy target.
I think that's so big coming out from the side of Fnatic, right? Now Vsta having no flash. HLE's bot lane not going to be able to play as aggressive. And the famous early game ganks coming out from Adam.
Okay, I mean, they've got to call that. Okay, the thing is in. Morgan knows what's going on. Willer needs like 2 Raptors to get level 3 to help fight for the rest of this jungle. Obviously, they care about the bottom jungle right now. as Zhao is going to be level 3 as well. Bwipo takes down the camp. Willer, there we go, gets it as well. And now the fight for the red buff. Chovy has control over mid, and Adam's back to top. Hanwha Life should be allowed to get these camps back and make it an equal trade.
Yeah, and I mean, nice ward also in bot side Tribresh to spot out and know to be able to peel back. You can see Chovy now hovering down from mid lane.
Chovy's got to move. Hylissang's on the way.
Bwipo is smite.
Fight! Yeah, Bwipo has it, so it means he's gonna grab it, but now he's in the fight right now. Chovy is in first, Nisqy's far behind, Willer, then a 300 HP, but Vsta locked in the front line. A good flash wave for Bwipo. First blood in for Fnatic. They will not go down, and now Hanwha Life forced to run away.
And like you said, really nice flash coming out from Bwipo to pull him in. Deft taking a bit of a trade. Should be fine. Willer waiting in the wings just in case.
It's a pretty clutch ward, though. That Trinket ward helps really make sure that they can walk all the way into the rest of the lane. They're not going to get surprised by a stun. Really good damage. Deft playing well on the edge, though. Bean is almost at a point where he's going to be forced to recall. He's out of potions, and a Doran's Blade for Sustained is not exactly a ton.
No, but this is also what we saw the last time these teams faced off, is that Deft really was a difference maker. Of course, Bean being brought into a tough situation has been highlighted many, many times, but Deft really utilizing his experience and taking advantage of this matchup. At least for the side of HLE, they weren't able to steal away that red buff, but it does look like they are going to get the double scuttle. You can see Morgan now moving into the top side jungle for that ward. As we do go into the replay, I feel like the big difference maker here is the fact that Bwipo did have smite, Willer didn't. They just go in, the smite does come out, both sides are collapsing. Nisqy actually had enough time to wrap around. Vsta goes in, nice flash from Bwipo, and Vsta just gets taken so low from the initial trade. But oh, freak, we have more.
Big stun, flashless, Zhao, blue buff taken away, knockup to be found, and Willer gets his revenge. And just like that, Hanwha Life have tied up the gold.
And so far, Hanwha are just playing so nice around their pushing lanes. They did it in bot lane with Vsta being able to move first. Now Morgan taking control of that top side. And for this top lane specifically, right, we've seen Adam just constantly moving from his lane. The last time these two teams met, he ganked mid at 3 minutes, then once again at 4. And typically when you go for plays like this, if you're not able to find something, you're just leaving this big window where now Morgan will have control of the lane. He'll be able to move first, get vision down. And this is what we were talking about with Hanwha Life, that it has looked more cohesive here than it did during the LCK regular split.
Yeah, it does seem like they're getting a lot better. I mean, obviously the fact that they had the... If you go by just game score, not matches, they were 9th place in the LCK this split. They had a really, really rough road through summer. But the fact that they were able to kind of cash in on their performance in spring and make the run through the regional qualifiers mean, you know, they did show up enough that they could make the push over. And then I would say it was helpful. They got some tune-up games during the play-in stage. They got that game versus LNG. Yeah, a loss, but still like good practice. And they're looking better and better. Obviously, now in a pretty decent spot against Fnatic. Clearly not over by any means. It's a 200 gold lead. Anyone can come back from that one. But, you know, Deft is on point. Chovy's obviously been great. And Willer, yeah, another player that we just will continue to sing praises of because he has been so good now.
Yeah, and I feel like the important thing to note for Hanwha Life at this point in time is the fact that Chovy does have flash, Nisqy doesn't. So you can see Nisqy having to play very far back and Chovy zoning him off the wave, walking forward, looking for those trades. And now we're going to see what Hanwha can do with this. I'd love to see Willer path towards mid, just kind of group up with Chovy, maybe make their way down towards bot as just a bit of trading coming out on both ends.
Yeah. Goodbye, Bean and Hylissang to actually catch all the way up in farm. There was a 16 CS deficit a little while earlier. Yeah, okay, there's a bit more to farm for Deft, so we will still have the lead. But Bean should get a pretty safe recall. Oh, this could be dangerous. If you can't go for this ward, like, at this point. But the problem is, of course, the wave can't be pushed in, and Bwipo's nowhere nearby, so this is going to be a 2v3. Hylissang can try to get away, but Willer is here, and that's going to be a stun. That's going to be a kill. The auto comes in, and now the stun lands, making a cleanse force out of Bean. And sadly, they did not get Bwipo over to help push out the wave, and Willer was there to punish.
Just nice pathing coming out from Willer, makes his way down. The stacked wave coming back into HLE's bot side. Willer taking the long way around, knowing, hey, I'm going to cut him off, be able to find that kill. And so far, it's just been nice control coming out from them. Only about a 700 gold lead, not 700K. That would be
absurd.
That would be pretty cool, honestly, to see at 7 minutes. I don't think it is possible, but...
No, it is not.
You know, Freak, you're the stats guy, you're the math guy. This is why they put me with you.
I can promise you, and I'm just here to help.
You know, maybe if you went to practice tool, you can like try and load that up.
Oh, that's doable, yeah.
Earlier on, Freak, we were talking about Fnatic looking for these plays towards the top side.
We're getting early Ignite for the reveal because now TF's on the way, stunned. I believe he has Dice as well, yes! And that means it's Fnatic pulling up Snake Eyes. But no, they've still got a 4v1. You mentioned it in Champ Select. They wanted a 4v1, and a 4v1 they have got. Morgan falls.
Really nice to see from Fnatic utilizing the fact that they did draft the Rakan for this purpose, make your way up towards the top side. You hit on now, hey, Morgan has a lot of dashes, he's pretty slippery. Looks like he's able to get away, but Fnatic do hard commit. Adam flashing in under the turret to make sure they do get that. And right in time for Herald to spawn. But HLE have already made their way up towards topside. Morgan even committing the TP.
Nice distortion forward. The flash fall over the stun. A flash out, and Hylissang finds Nisqy for safe. The surviving Rakan. I don't think that'll kill, but a nice try by Deft.
And this should also secure the fact that HLE can make their way up towards that Rift Herald. Right now, looks like they're walking into Fnatic's jungle, maybe looking to take away some camps, get some more wards down. But I'd like to see them just back off. You can start up that Rift Herald, but for now, HLE just backing away slowly. I mean, Morgan did just commit the TP up towards topside as well. He should be able to push this wave in, and no TP stancer on the side of Fnatic.
One thing I've noticed, actually, is a lot of times, this is going to happen here, but a lot of times pro supports actually don't take the cannon from their mid laners. Even though they're getting full gold, the XP share, we've seen actually a couple of times, they will just leave early. They will like take melees and be like, yeah, peace, bye. Which I just found kind of interesting that happens sometimes. But in this case, Vsta going to maximize the gold income and go on his merry way towards topside, covering the Rift Herald take now with Hanwha Life. Going to grab the first neutral objective of the game, a small 300 gold lead, looking to double that with a Herald charge before too long.
Yeah, Hylissang looking for mid. We see some Fnatic pings coming down, but he has flash up. He still did have his W before this moment, so would be quite hard. I'd like to see Fnatic get some vision down towards the bottom half of the map, which looks like is what Hilly is doing right now. Scuttle will be coming up top side. Bwipo does have some camps on that quadrant, but it feels like Chovy just has so much control of mid right now. It's really hard for Fnatic to find options. Pretty much goes back to the old saying of like attack the global. Luckily, Chovy has been able to do that just 1v1 all game to where Nisqy can't find these really impactful ports with, you know, on top side.
He did get that one kill, but I mean, I think you're totally right, right? This is why I was like, I care about mid lane a lot in this matchup, because if you can lock up Nisqy, Fnatic I don't think have much of a win condition. And so far that's been a little bit true. Obviously it's still quite close. Clearly Fnatic of course can win this one, but a 40 CS lead, okay, you know, 37 or 27, whatever it is, like 33 as I actually do math appropriately. I'm on 2 hours sleep, by the way, so that's how it's gonna go for us today here. Yeah. Good lead for Chovy, and now we get to see what happens if you can ever leave lane and do a bit more. Stun attempted, and it's going to force Arcane Shift out of Deft.
And now, I feel like as we're looking more big picture going forward, right, it goes back to what we talked about of Fnatic wanting to accelerate the game. They don't really have a great front line. Of course, Adam did pick up the Bramble Vest because he's facing double AD top side. It is his typical build. He'll get things like the Gordrick or the Syrinx Gauge and go full tank. Rakan especially, you typically see him as like a follow-up engaged champion or someone who's looking for picks or flanks or these creative angles to catch someone out, to where, at least on the side of HLE, you have good DPS later on with Ezreal. You even have Poke being able to be played alongside with Chovy. You can take front-to-back teamfights with the Leona and the Renekton.
Yeah.
And I think it goes back to what you were just saying about, for HLE, it just feels like they have more options with how they can play out the map and play out their draft.
Unless Nisqy gets out, or unless Bwipo makes a big play here topside, waiting for enough rage to get the big heal, but it's not going to matter. Bwipo was just there, waiting for him to ward and punish him.
Really nice coming out from Bwipo. The AD hit it. He has been kind of the shining light for Fnatic so far. Took his Krugs, went for the recall, only had the Wolves up on topside, chaining that into a very easy gank onto Morgan. Right now we see Willer waiting around just to catch the wave, but no TP shouldn't be able to do anything. And it's kind of funny that HLE still have been playing very...
Oh, he can get 2 levels down. There's no way you actually win this one, even though items were probably advantage for Willer. I don't think he beat Olaf down a level, so he just conquer stacks and drain tanks you.
Yeah, has W, has the Bramble Vest.
Yeah.
Definitely would feel a little bit too hard for Adam.
Oh, that's a red card. Unfortunate. Wouldn't have killed anyway. Ultimately just means a wave clear, and Nisqy going to respect a bit the fact that Viego could be on the way. Runs down towards the teammate, and now first Dragon, Fnatic.
Yeah, I really like Fnatic going for this. Willer showed top to try and catch that wave or hold it up for Morgan. Gives Fnatic the window since Bwipo does get the reset first, gets back on the map, make their way down towards the bottom side, pick up this Drake. And you know, we were talking about this a little bit earlier in the day, that this group feels a lot more tempered today than it did in week 1. I feel like we were seeing a ton of action. I know Vettis was hitting on it, that Fnatic especially playing so over-aggressive in that first week. Even teams like Hanwha, though, we're willing to go toe-to-toe with every team in their way. Feels like only PSG, as Medic was saying earlier in the day, compared to their PCS split, it has been a bit slower from them.
Yeah, and some of it is, I think they're, you know, less dominant compared to the competition. right? Like, Fnatic is better than the average PCS team, I would say by quite a lot, right? And same for Hanwha, same obviously for RNG. They're one of the very best teams in the world. So that can make it tough to just be as dominant when there is tougher competition. But yeah, even then, like as we saw with 100 Thieves yesterday, and Fnatic now today, it's like, but if your style is aggressive, you should play aggressive. Like, you should play the way you're going. So I kind of agree with your point that, like, I would like to see more of that aggression come through from the teams that are known for this kind of play. Right now, as we take stock of the game as it stands, just a 500 gold lead to Hanwha Life as the Herald charge had already landed in the mid. Mid lane turned a bit low. Cleanse going to be in for Bean, able to sidestep, no problem. Basic Cleanse a quarter second slow, but it's not really relevant. Able to get away from all the skill shots. Bot lane shoved in, Hylissang ready to control as Bwipo is going to go ahead and take some as well. Deft going down to half HP. Doesn't want to burn an ulti as Arcane Shift will get him out. And instead just kind of trades back, but it should mean Deft is allowed one turret plate. And though I dislike his item build, he's doing okay in this game.
Yeah, double Divine Sunder coming out on the side of HLE. Deft getting quite low, or they could have potentially looked to force a dive. They do have to be careful because Adam does have TP advantage over Morgan for what looks like only, 10 or 20 more seconds. Nisqy also does have the Destiny available, but cross map coming out so far, Morgan is respecting, so Adam is getting quite a lot off of this to where Bean and Hilly aren't losing anything down in bot side with how chunked Deft did get in the last exchange. So for Willer, he is only going to get some camps. And I feel like we're looking now at the next Rift Herald, which...
Round 3.
Yeah, Fnatic having a lot of control on this top side, doesn't connect.
And it should be an easy stun, slice and dice away, but they've got TF coming, so it doesn't matter if he's gonna get away. Should give the solo kill, they're trying to wait, let someone else get a share of the cash, and Nisqy gonna be 300 gold richer. Now on the bot side, Deft falling as well, Fnatic fighting for their lives, and they're winning it!
And Bean and Hilly coming out on top against Deft. Fnatic winning on both sides of the map feels so critical, especially when we were hitting about it for their draft of like, hey, you want to accelerate the pace of the game, you picked for this. Looked like Morgan was going to get out topside. Really nice Destiny coming out from Nisqy to make sure that didn't happen. We didn't really get to see what happened in the bot side 2v2, but Bean and Hilly doing much better than they did last time around. Great to see.
Yeah, and okay, Chovy will answer back with a turret, but that man has teleport, and he's playing for his own lane and nothing else. Here, we finally see the TP down to the bottom side. Bean and Co, they've got Adam, but there's going to be a 3-on-3 at least. It's going to be a flash for MF, but where are you going? Know what, you live onto that one. Olaf going to be unstoppable, immune to CC. Vsta going to fall. Adam will trade his life back. They can let Deft get that one up, and now Hylissang, he can jump. He can try to get back to Nisqy, just maybe the chain's gonna land. And finally, yes indeed, we get the mid laner out of his lane and Hanwha Life clean up 3. Maybe a 4th as Nisqy gets the root, runs away. As long as the chain doesn't land, he will live, but Chovy wants in, not anymore.
Feels like Chovy's just playing in RPG, and that's just like the first main objective he has to complete, right?
Yeah.
Take first turret in my lane, can't leave until then. Finally does it, is able to TP down, they pick up a bunch of kills. Sadly, it was in the bottom half of the map. If it was up in topside, HLE can try and turn that into something like a Rift Herald, but we are gonna get in the new Axe Effect replay, seeing what happened here with the 2v2 kill, ultimate and W. Yeah, just really nice coming out from Hilly to set up. Even the Q coming out from Bean to follow up with big damage. And the reaction from Yamato and crew.
Bean, so I don't remember how many times he auto-attacked, but he did get a crit there in the last attack, which helped guarantee the kill. But I think he was like 3 autos in, so it's expected value. But now, hold on. Another fight in the top side. Vsta running away from the river. Okay, that's going to be one charm, a knock-up, a second to come through. Willer, he's going to ult to safety for now, and the health bars are low, but the chain misses Hylissang. However, Vsta can still not get away. Adam takes him down. Deft jumps the wall to live.
Yeah, ooh, Chovy. Okay, just taking a bit of poke, so Fnatic should be able to turn this into a Herald. Deft can throw some poke over wall since they are on red side, but it won't turn into anything. Nice target selection coming out from Fnatic, going onto Willer, realizing, hey, Vista's already fully committed. He did end up going down in the end, but I like that they didn't throw any cooldowns into Chovy, since Chovy is so mobile, is able to easily get out. And this Olaf pick is working out for the side of Fnatic. I mean, how many teams really have experience playing up against a top side? Olaf, and it feels like Fnatic will be able to turn into a bit of a 1-3-1 later in the game, look to enable this Olaf, look to keep finding picks on sides, to where for Hanwha, I feel like it's going to be all about making the map small, overloading one side, and trying to find those team fights when Deft is a bit stronger.
I can't think of a single team who's played this matchup before. I mean, I know G2's played against Olaf, but they played Yuumi into it in scrims, so it's going to be a first time for anyone here.
Oh, God.
Yeah, no. No one is safe. No one is safe.
They're not even here, freak!
That makes it better. That was the follow-up, by the way. I guess G2 are safe because, you know, no one can beat them at Worlds. But Bwipo gonna knock down the ward, gonna stay alive. Dragons now 1-1. Herald summon in mid means mid lane turret will be answered. And Fnatic gonna be 3-1 of the turret score. That 1,000 gold lead will grow by 50%. There's the crash, stay in range. HLE should back up a little bit. Okay, he shares the gold anyway. A little greedy, but whatever. They're going to grab that one. They would love the second charge. It'll make a follow-up push in a mid very successful later on. They'll get the charge at the very least. Not sure they'll get much more. Stun going to land. Bwipo with the ulti down, but oh, the anti-synergy knocks him out of the bullet time. They both try to peel him, and now they go for a little bit more. Bwipo's ulti is over. They're back out of range, and it will be a ceasefire.
Yeah, Fnatic do get what they wanted. They got the turret. I think HLE are playing the fights correctly, though. I think when you are in a standoff over waves, we hit on that they do have a good range advantage coming out with both LeBlanc and Ezreal, so Chovy should be looking to poke his head in, trying to whittle people like Hilly down who are going to be playing a bit more far forward. See if you can get them where you can commit to the
yeah! He gets it! Hylissang! Man, this guy's been around for ages, and he's so good.
Yeah, absolutely insane coming out from him. I mean, just Fnatic overall, the fact that they've been able to come into the second week, completely turn it around. Sure, this game is not over by any means, but I think it's fair to say week one for Fnatic looked pretty rough, understandably so, but man, today they're contesting everything. They're getting vision, they're playing as a team. You're seeing them move around the map and work together, and even the individuals. I mean, again, we saw the Fnatic bottom lane, 2v2 kill, Deft and Vsta.
Yep. It's impressive. They are really, really stepping up when it matters most. Again, Fnatic have failed to get out of groups once in the history of the organization. And they've played in 2011 Worlds. They've been around the block for a long time. This block has been circumnavigated several times. It's a marathon at this point, and they've dropped exactly once. 7 years ago in 2014, when no one in Europe made it out of the group stage. Now, yes, they're 0-1 so far. Obviously, Rogue didn't make it, but Fnatic would love to stop that there and be the first LEC team to make the quarterfinals here at Worlds 2021. Deft gonna be attacked. Nisqy does get stunned, but they switch the focus. It's gonna be Vsta instead, the easier target. They knew his flash was down. He cannot dash out of the way, and Fnatic get kill number 8.
Yeah, Fnatic with the 2-lane setup, playing through mid and bot, realize, hey, HLE's bot lane playing a little too far forward. The Destiny does come out, even forcing out the ultimate from Willer to pivot straight into a bot side push, and I don't think Hanwha can stop this.
Drip down, flash follow, Bwipo wants in, Deft able to arcane shift in time, very clean, because honestly, it's so hard to get away from a flash Q3 out of a Zhao. Well done to Deft, great reflexes, but it is still the 4th turret taken down, in mid is at 10%, so the next time they get a pick, that's another 700 gold to the team.
Yeah, now for Fnatic, we're going to see resets coming out. I think Hanwha should be looking to pivot towards topside, get some more aggressive vision coming out. Then we're going to start seeing teams probably pivot down towards Dragon at some point. Still 1 minute and 40 on that, but Fnatic still have full control over bot side with some decent wards behind the members of HLE in their jungle. Deft almost at 2 items, so almost at that point with that mirror mana where he's quite strong. But we're going to see a replay again, playing out through 2 lanes, hovering towards the bottom side. Nice Destiny coming out from Nisqy. They focus on Vsta because he doesn't have flash, he doesn't have cleanse like Deft does. And Hylissang keeps going, which forces out the ult from Willer as well, which feels quite nice. And now, Freak, we're just going to pivot back into standard lane allocations on both sides. Chovy pushing out in top lane. They really can't overcommit. No one on Fnatic showing on the map yet. But we know next objective, definitely going to be the Infernal Drake.
Of course, it's up in 1 minute. We can see Chovy shoved in the top wave and then left. He's going back in the middle side. Hanwha Life are not playing for topside vision really at all. Chovy, I'm not sure. I think with the sweeper, he knew at least one was around. He knew he was getting jumped on a little bit. Adam maybe forced to ult. Is able to tank it. The root doesn't matter, and you lose the armor MR when you press that button, so gonna save that. I think Bean should have let Adam, by the way, solo that wave and get his lifesteal on. He may get to recall and walk back in time. Maybe he has a purchase anyway, so it's not really relevant, but could have been a concern.
Ooh, Fnatic going with the cheeky threat of the Baron.
They pinged it though. Like they're pinging like, hold on. Fnatic are spicy, and they're on the way over. Good read by Hanwha Life. I mean, a sick attempt by Fnatic, but it was red.
Yeah, Fnatic now gonna have to back off. The nice thing is, though, you now have Adam going to mid, catching that wave. You can look to try to pivot to contesting Drake now that you pulled them out of the area. Even Nisqy starting to make his way down does have the Destiny available, so can try and find an avenue in.
Bit of damage on the Bean. Hylissang wants in. They're going to get the first charm. Vsta in a bad way. Nisqy waiting for his first stun. A flash to safety, but is it really? Adam is on the chase. 1 for nothing, but hold on. Bwipo is going to fall. It's a 4v4. Nisqy chasing against Chovy. Exhaust is in. He's going to live for now, but the Viego resets maybe online as Willer looks for a knockup. They're going to get that kill on Adam, and Hanwha Life indeed will have it in this group. Fnatic starting to fall. 3 already dead, and Nisqy could be picked off. Chovy not going to find it just yet, but that dragon's going to be theirs for sure. And Bean, oh, he's doing his best to cosplay.
Does he finally execute?
Maybe. Yep. Okay. Suning's AD carry. What's his name?
Hwanfeng.
Oh, yes. Doing his best Hwanfeng cosplay. Sadly, it worked way better for him. And that is Dragon over.
We're going to see. The thing that jumped out to me was just how split this fight gets, which definitely favors HLE in my opinion. They try to engage on a Deft. They force some summoners out. They commit so much to following Vsta over the wall. Sure, you still have things like the bullet time left up, but Bean got taken so low in that initial exchange. I feel like as Fnatic's composition, you need to be taking like a front-to-back team fight where you're setting up Rakan ultimate into a massive bullet time coming out from Bean. Nisqy completely separated off, so not even really finding high-value gold cards onto targets trying to peel for his AD carry. And when you're on the side of Hanwha, you have LeBlanc, you have Viego, 2 assassins, you have this bruiser top laner. These champions love chaotic fights. They love split fights where it's more separate 1v1s or 2v2s rather than a straight-up 5v5.
And now look at the game state we've got. I would say for a while, Fnatic had been the team with the pressure. I mean, the 4-2 turret kills explains that pretty cleanly. But Hanwha Life feels like they have turned the corner. They've obviously tied up the gold. And that's being down in kills and down in turrets and down TF passive. In fact, they have earned that much more money despite that. And that means they're standing gold. That means, you know, they're ready to start taking more down on this game. Hanwha Life may just well be in control. They're still on their side of the map. Fnatic are still playing the aggressor. I'm just not sure they're the lead anymore.
No, and I think we're going to start getting to a point soon where we see here contests over mid-wave at some point are going to start favoring Hanwha Life because you do have the Ezreal, can look to poke out on the opposite side. Chovy just needs to pop his head in. Here, Fnatic did overload mid lane. They have 5 members compared to HLE who have 4. You can see Morgan still not here.
Oh, they're going for it. Chovy does not have a zone, he does not have a stopwatch. Will take some damage. This is going to go golden, but he may just become that as he flashes to safety, stays alive. Stun, going to land at a bean. He cleanses it, and Vsta, will he drop? Yes! Fnatic picked the fight, and Fnatic win the fight.
And I got to be honest, that looks so sketchy coming out from Nisqy at first. I thought he was just going to instantly go down. Does buy time, had to flash out. But like you're saying, Fnatic were the ones to find the kill. HLE, though, having fast track on mid, they should be able to get this. Maybe even still able to posture to find some kind of pick, but Fnatic being quite respectful.
That turret's worth more gold than Vsta, so that does actually kind of a long play. Ooh, careful, Chovy. Below 1K, but not in range of any more damage. The flash, oh, Bwipo wanted that one desperately, but couldn't find it. Looking to charge up his knockup, gonna be stunned. Nearly goes down, but no, they're gonna hold Morgan back for now. Be careful though, Bwipo gets found out. Deft finds the kill, but can they chase him? The slow is in, the gold card's gonna land, the knockup's gonna be there too. The cleanse will not matter. And Fnatic avenge their Belgian.
Yeah, Fnatic doing a nice job. We did see Adam, oh, they get another one! And then Willer is just gone!
Does that mean, I don't think it can mean Baron. You do have a 15-second desync, roughly, of Bwipo before Willer is alive. I don't think you can still turn that into Baron, though, so I think it's just gold earned and a reset.
Yeah, I don't think they should have enough DPS. Looks like they still might threaten it. I'm not sure if Nisqy has a spellbook cooldown up to where he is able to change to something like a smite, but they're at least bluffing, trying to see if they can cause a situation where they are able to find a pick.
Hylissang has charm, but does not have flash, so anyone worth their salt can react to either distortion out or arcane shift, and it's going to mean nothing happens. Of course, pretty able to ward over the wall. They're going to be safe. Here's that fight again.
I was a bit surprised to see Fnatic take it so aggressively. When you look where Adam is, he did have the TP up, but I assume they just wanted to posture and give Adam time to push that wave in bot side. Still, the Make It Rain comes through. You have the gold card. You find the CC to get another kill on their side. But this was the one that felt really nice, right? You see Willer walk up, trying to contest the wave. Not quite sure why. Does just give Nisqy a free angle to go for the gold card, and did lead to Fnatic trading up.
It means Fnatic are back to full 1,000 gold lead. 800 of that is the TF passive, but a lead is a lead. Fnatic still playing for their lives in this tournament, and so far, it's working at least enough that they've got a shot in this one. A tight game here between Hanwha Life Esports. The 4th seed out of the LCK scrapped their way into Worlds, fought through the play-ins, dropped only a single game. and obviously would like to secure their ticket to the quarterfinals as well. So rarely does a Korean team fall in the group stage. Chovy and Deft never happened to them before.
I think really crucial to note here as well, the summoners definitely being in favor of the side of Hanwha Life. Everyone having pretty much all summoners up. No cleanse for Deft, but he's on the Ezreal, so he should be fine. Bwipo, though, looking to go on Chovy. Chovy extremely mobile, so it doesn't mean too much, but both Nisqy and Bwipo not having their flashes can make Nisqy quite an easy target to focus down a team fight and then potentially have a numbers advantage. But you can see the dynamic has stayed what we've been talking about, right? Chovy poking his head in and out, trying to get some good damage down.
Just a speculative ult with his team nowhere nearby, knocked back up into the air. Bullet time will not quite kill him as the locket is popped, but now that is a gold card stun. That is decent follow-up damage. That is Adam going for broke, and he's gonna find the kill. And looking for now a bit more in the 5v4. Deft stun, Deft charm, Deft in the air, Deft in the dirt as Morgan is left alone, but he is not a serial killer. He is serial killed. They do not get Dexter out of this, Morgan. Instead, it's going to be a dragon for free to Fnatic.
And the Fnatic Week 2 revival still going strong. That play started off with a bit of a head scratcher coming out from Vsta, giving Fnatic a free angle to where they're able to walk in and take the fight. Also going to make their way up towards this second dragon, so no team really anywhere close or with a massive advantage in terms of threatening soul. I really feel like the next big break point in the game, assuming neither team just runs it down, probably will be Baron.
Oh, we got 5 minutes till it's Dragon again. And even then, that's one that you can give away. Here we go, this fight yet again. Vsta, I do not understand this ult. Chovy's not even on the screen right now.
Chovy is so far away. Chovy has been the big damage dealer. Even Morgan in the wave right now, nowhere close to be able to follow up. He doesn't get taken all the way down, but still sets up for the situation where the gold card able to come out from Nisqy. Ragnarok is popped by Adam. Doesn't hit the first axe, but doesn't really matter. You're still dead. Fnatic just keep following through. Really nice by Hilly. Closes so much distance to where they are able to keep finding the kills. And it just turns into a situation where Fnatic win the fight and peel off into Dragon. And the Yamato reactions.
Yeah.
Are on point today.
Absolutely. I'm always a fan of those shots. I think they're one of the highlights of Worlds is people who are allowed to like cheer and just like jump around and do cartwheels and stuff.
Especially Yamato, who is very clearly such a passionate guy.
He is. And looking to keep that streak going. Out of groups 10 times 11 showings for Fnatic. Never failed at MSI. Dropped that one time at Worlds 7 years ago. I'll say it maybe once or twice more during this cast, and then we'll move on. And then you'll get me again for the PSG Talon game. Right now, though, Hanwha Life, again on the back foot. Deft doing his best to land the poke. That is really the one thing going well for Hanwha Life. Certainly, Chovy is deathless, but for how much he dominated the lane in CS, he's been relatively quiet in-game. KP lower than Deft, lower than the support, lower than virtually everyone. Gets some damage, but that poke, will it really stick?
No, and Hanwha just trying to do their best to force Fnatic out of the area. From what I believe, Hanwha still do not have any grievous wounds other than the Bramble Vest, which Morgan has picked up. We do have an Executioner calling on Bean, so they are respecting the Renekton and the Viego on the opposite side. But especially when you're going up against an Olaf, would be nice to see something come out from Hanwha. Maybe Deft will make his way towards an Executioners with the longsword that he's sitting on, but yeah, both teams right now just trying to take control over Baron Vision. For Fnatic, you do have the Twisted Fate. You could go for a play where you have Adam sitting in the side lane, have Nisqy hover with the Destiny, look to pick someone off, and then pivot up towards that top side. For Hanwha, I still feel like you're in a position where you're mostly answering side waves and just looking to use tempo to group up 5 as mid and try and force your way into river there. We are finally at the point where I feel like Deft's poke is significant enough to where those contests over mid wave are able to go in favor of Hanwha.
It is wild to me that a LeBlanc with a 40 CS lead and no deaths is not able to play aggressively for side. That it's Hanwha Life reactive. But you can see, look at the minimap. Top, pushed in for Fnatic. Bot, pushed in for Fnatic. Where's Chovy? Killing awarded mid because he can't answer side lanes. Even in the TF lane, he's not really willing to go for it. Teleport is up for both solo laners. Hanwha Life are mostly A-ramming. They are sitting there grouped up, afraid of TF flanks. They get some poke, and it doesn't stick. And like, Fnatic has never cared about this poke in this entire game.
And you even look at their setup right now, right? Hanwha are in a position where they need to answer the side waves. Fnatic just pushed in both sides. They have such a massive window on the map to where they're allowed to do whatever they want. They're not going to overextend, put themselves in harm's way. And like you're saying, there's a ton of sustain on the side of Fnatic, so none of this poke really meaning all too much. And Fnatic are doing a nice job of playing around their windows.
Oh, Hilly on a ward, though. Able to get away, not locked up any further. Willow doesn't have reliable crowd control like that, and so it's safety. Bwipo really aggressive, will be chained up. Gold card won't do too much to Chovy. He's able to walk back out, not take the wild cards either. but it's back to safety. It's Fnatic who are pushing up. They own the top river. They own the Baron pit. Hanwha Life thankfully have a Scryer's Bloom to make it really easy for them, and now get first dibs on the mid lane.
You know, and going back when I talked about the play that Fnatic could try to make of like, okay, I have Twisted Fate, Shadow, the Olaf, look for a pick on sides. I guess HLE haven't really given them much of a chance. Like you're saying, yeah, Chovy has never really answered side waves. Morgan has only been answering waves that are very deeply pushed into Hanwha Life's side of the map. Yep. So Hanwha realizing our best chance of winning is looking for the straight up 5v5, is staying together grouped, a ton of AoE damage coming out from multiple members, and it feels like they're really
putting the play.
All of their
Morgan and Chovy on the flank. TF gets the vision. Bwipo on the front line buys a lot of time. He's wide, but will he survive? Gets a knock him in Vsta. Chase down. Adam and B knock him down. However, they've traded back on a Nisqy. 4v4 without the TF. That could be a lot of danger. Is there a re-engage? Flashes up for virtually everybody. Zoned back towards the Baron. The question is, does Hanwha Life get the confidence to make a play? 20 seconds till the Dragon spawns without a TF. You have to believe, without a mid laner, you have to believe Hanwha Life should be the ones able to push forward. The Fnatic are not giving the bottom river. Adam gonna take the chain. Adam has to be careful, has the ulti. Sterix popped. Sterix popped without blocking any damage. He's pretty much unable to fight now. This Dragon should be given over to Hanwha Life.
Yeah, Hanwha even pushing in mid-wave, so making Fnatic lose something on the map. Adam does have teleport, so does Chovy. And we see those TPs coming in now.
Here we go. Fnatic ready to fight for it, but they will have Nisqy in 12 seconds. Respawn plus the TP channel, and Hanwha Life are unwilling to fight despite the fact that Nisqy can't be here. They will let the Dragon get low. TP. It is smitten. It has been taken, but the fight is coming. Vsta right behind him. Here goes Bwipo again on the front line. A safety play for Willer, but he drops. Adam's 1 for nothing. On to Bean they go, but Morgan can't find the kill. Fnatic may have lost the Dragon, but they're winning the fight 2-1 so far, but Chovy shows up huge to get a double kill. And now Bwipo, I'm sorry, your screen has gone gray. Dark Bwipo's in the grave.
And Hanwha just kiting out that fight. Nisqy going for the flash gold card on the Deft, instantly cleanses it, goes down pretty much right away. And I mean, Hanwha haven't been all too aggressive with been wanting to take these fights, but they are able to play it out like that. We're gonna see here, Fnatic are the ones who start off the initial engage. Nisqy comes up, channels the TP. Willer is able to get in and smite the Dragon, which does feel quite nice. MF Ultimate not really doing anything. Looks like it did take down Morgan a little bit. Adam goes in, finds Willer, but Chovy and Deft playing in the backline. They aren't really feeling any threat from other members of Fnatic as Hilly was peeling off for his AD carry. There's the flash gold card we talked about, instantly cleansed, instantly goes down, and then Deft and Chovy are able to make their way back into the fight and just keep whittling them down.
And that's cooldown tracking. Fnatic were in an outright 4v3. You lost the Dragon, but you won the fight. You outnumber them. Wait, does Deft have cleanse? Oops, I guess a flash gold card is a mistake. That is a crucial mistake from Nisqy. I don't know if he said, I got this. I don't know if someone else called it, but that play let Chovy get into the distortion and just rip Fnatic off the map. And now a gold deficit, an 1100 gold Baron power play. That's probably going to grow as Hanwha Life can finally go for the top lane out of turret.
Yeah, and now we can see them having more confidence to play around these sides. They have bot wave pushed in. They can go for this chain lands.
Chain has to ult with the health bar. Yeah, sorry, your MR goes away when you pop that. Chovy landed the skill shot, and it guaranteed the Olaf kill.
Yeah, and with the fact that they were able to take the Baron, they took that fight, right? Hanwha are finally coming into a position on the map where they're the team that have first move, they're the team that have tempo. Bot wave was in a good state, they're able to commit 3-man towards top. They do keep Morgan in mid, and they can just keep pushing this one down, leaving Morgan to buff up the wave. If this did turn into any kind of race for turrets, Hanwha definitely going to be in a position to win. I think we need to start seeing resets coming out from Fnatic, but Nisqy just committing to a push on bot side.
Yep, this is a play I can respect. The call is we cannot defend anything outside of our base, so maximize resources before then. That said, the inhibitor itself, again, Adam is not alive. They are unwilling to 4v5. I can accept that as understanding that you cannot win this fight anyway. The problem is there's a death cap and a 25 stack Magi's on Chovy. He is about to end Fnatic's season.
Yeah, I think it is a lose-lose, right? Because there's no outer turret bot side. You really can't push up to an inhibitor turret. This is opening the map so much for HLE, though. I assume they're going to play it patiently. No, they're going in.
Bwipo on the front, puts the ulti down, but that's not going to block distortion. Guardian Angel pop, Hylissang gets the knockup, bullet time buys a second, but only that. Deft alive, Deft gets the kill, a 1-for-1 though as Adam drops, and the jungler on the other side is also dead. Nisqy cleanses away, thank you Spellbook. Morgan goes golden. Can they kill him now? Good knockup for Hylissang. And the Goredrigger's not going to be enough. Yes, the kill on the board. 1 dead for Fnatic. 2 kills towards Hanwha Life. And Deft is now stuck inside the base. Deft will fall. It forces a stopwatch out of Bean, but Fnatic, though they lose 2 inhibitors, have gotten 2 extra kills.
I feel like Hylissang was a big playmaker for me there, to where he goes in, he finds the knockup onto both Chovy and Deft, making it so some of Bean's bullet time did get some good damage down onto the key carries, forced out Deft's flash, so we are going to see here. I'm a bit surprised Hanwha were the ones who elected to go for this, but Bwipo!
Bye.
Woo!
Yep. This is the Chovy people told us about, by the way, heading in. It's not that he's not been good at Worlds. Obviously, he has been stellar. I think the best performer on Hanwha Life by far.
Best laner in the tournament, probably, you know?
But this game was slow, right?
Yes.
This game was, he got a CS lead and nothing else. They gave him a Herald card. He gave them a kill on the Bean,
Oh,
but
wow!
that is the one downside of a full offense LeBlanc, is you are killable. Well played by Bean.
That was still very surprising damage. Really good coming out from Bean. We're gonna see what happens here. Chovy playing, I mean, you look at the minimap, right? Bwipo has no vision, doesn't expect Chovy to be here, just goes in 1 combo and he's dead. And man, I want to see this damage coming out from Bean once again. Did go the full crit route on Misfortune this time around. Auto into double, ooh.
Yeah, auto Q auto, I believe was it.
Yeah.
And now a stun, a lockup. True shot barrage sadly misses, but will or will not as Hylissang goes down. Turns out he loves his wife more than you do, Viego.
And now
Rakan.
we're gonna be at a point where okay, Chovy coming up soon, freak. Will be sold for Hanwha Life if they do.
Yeah.
I mean, they get it. We see the map right now. Fnatic can't even walk out of their base.
No. Even though Chovy's dead, he can be there in 6 seconds with a respawn on a TP channel. Morgan gonna let the second camp kind of come reinforce. Hanwha Life also gonna grab Infernal Soul, and Fnatic are about to need a miracle or their run at Worlds is over. The best they could do is fight for 3rd in the group. Morgan gonna find himself a stun. Not a lot more. Deft grabs some farm.
And now for Hanwha, they actually can just go back to what they were doing before. They can take this one slow. Their comp is pretty good at sieging with both Ezreal and LeBlanc. Just have Vsta stand in front, tank up any cooldowns coming out from the members of Fnatic. And for Fnatic, typically in these situations, what you have to do is sacrifice one side of the map to all in with numbers advantage somewhere else. But when you have 2 lanes with inhibitors down, that's not really an option. You could end up losing your whole base just to minions. So Nisqy being the one to catch waves, the correct choice, since he does have Destiny, can easily follow up. But it feels like for Hanwha, they can just bleed out Fnatic.
Here we go. Looking to siege the final inhibitor as mid and top are pushing in. However, mid, yes, it's still spawning supers. They've still got that for pressure. However, this wave is about to drop, and bot lane's nowhere to be seen. Of course, they're squishy waves. Bullet time will clean a wave, no problem, and wild cards can help that one as well. We'll see when Nisqy's able to make his way forwards. I think he should be, I guess he can't really try for it just yet. Looking for the wave clear soon though. Mid pushing in. Top lane, they're letting the wave push through the wave. That'll actually help it sync up with mid. As, yeah, bot lane drops really fast. They can't get a whole lot done there. But now, and yeah, here's the problem, right? It desyncs so much. Fnatic,
yeah.
Well, okay, bot wave's dead. Cool, we'll just clear mid top, no problem. Now, Baron's going for 30. That'll be a pressure point, but they're not getting the inhibitor.
At the very least, right, they're going to be able to force Fnatic out of the base, which once again will be quite hard with the fact that 2 inhibs are down. So it should be a free Baron for the side of HLE, to where then it makes sieging that bot lane turret much easier. And for Fnatic, I feel like your only hope at this point is just a massive combo coming out from Hilly, locking up numerous members, into damage coming out from Bean. Maybe Adam being able to get on the backline, try and force away Deft, but Deft also going to have flash up soon, has the E available. Cleanse just came up, so locking down Deft or being able to keep on top of him is going to be extremely hard.
Q's gonna land, nothing else that can go through the minions, and doesn't have the ability to mimic the R, because I believe he double dashed to get there in the first place. Hilly has an escape tool, should be in a reasonable spot, but Morgan, okay, be careful. Second dash, wants to get enough fury, has to go for the blank stun in the beginning, but still able to run backwards. Chovy, again, not able to get the other spells off. Hylissang will stay alive. True Shot Barrage will not tag him.
Still, this is going to be a Baron for the side of Hanwha Life Esports. Now 4v5 for Fnatic. They can try to posture to buy time, but I really don't think it does too much. And you're not even in a place on the map where you can really cross-map or look for camps or anything of that. Fnatic, Bwipo just going to steal.
Do you try for this one? They don't have a support, but he's going to walk in. They've delayed it enough, though, that they're going to knock him down first. And here comes just the fight. Bean cleanses, he walks away. They don't care about the Baron. They care about ending Fnatic's year. Hilly going to try for the double knockup. Bean, he's about to fall. Gets a shield, gets one back. Willer is dead, but Morgan is in to knock them down. Gets one kill. Adam flashes to safety, but Hylissang is dead. Adam tries to lifesteal, but he cannot do so. He has fallen. And now Chovy flashing away from Nisqy, not going to be dropped here. Just the one man left alone. A red card on the Vsta, not going to matter. They're pushing down to the bottom lane right now. Chovy trying to find the kill. A heal buys a second, but it is over. It is over for Fnatic. The second LEC team will fall at Worlds. Hanwha Life Esports is up to their third win in the group. Fnatic could push them through by taking down PSG later today. At the end of the day, it is Hanwha Life Esports victorious. Hanwha Life Esports in control of their destiny with a chance to make quarterfinals.
Really nice showing coming out from Hanwha. Was pretty dicey in the early game, if I do say so myself, Freak. Things were looking pretty good for Fnatic, but it got to a point where, again, not a lot of action coming out from Hanwha. They were playing it a bit more slow and trying to like poke Fnatic off of objectives or poking them off mid-wave with both LeBlanc and Ezreal. And it just got to a point where it felt too much to deal with, especially once we saw the fight around bot side. The flash gold card coming out from Nisqy, clenched right away by Deft. They take that team fight, and from there, I can understand why you're trying to go for that Baron steal by Bwipo. It feels like you really just have no options. So many inhibitors are down. They have Soul. You got to go for something, but in the end, Hanwha take the fight.
The slow and steady game worked out. The top pressure was good. Adam's Olaf got them 2 or 3 kills up against Morgan. I believe they even got
bot lane.
Yeah, also that Hylissang and Bean put in such a difficult position, stepping in, you know, on the second best team in Europe, and having to come in with no LEC practice, no Worlds practice, nothing. Honestly, Bean looked pretty good. And the rest of Fnatic, obviously they're stellar as well, but I know fans gonna be disappointed because it was not like, well, Bean's holding them down, they'd win if it wasn't for him. Fnatic as a team could not get it together in week 1. They lost as a team. They were not up to the task, and I'm sad to say, for the second time in history, they have fallen in the group stage. Fans will be disappointed, but they have to look to Mad Lions tomorrow as the only LEC team allowed to make quarterfinals. For Fnatic, they get one more match later today. They get to fight PSG Talon, if I recall correctly, and can end on a win. But it's a bittersweet 2-4 exit.
Yeah, for Fnatic, again, you're just be questioning had they been able to play a bit better in week 1 like they did today, what could have been possible. On the flip side, though, for all you LCK fans out there, LCK has been looking pretty terrifying, if I do say so myself, coming from the LPL. And for Hanwha Life, they, you know, going forward, trying to cement their way out of a group, very real possibility that 4 LCK teams can go through, which coming into the tournament, I don't think a lot of people expected for, you know, whatever reason, but now is looking quite possible.
I want to call out that Hanwha Life have a real chance, not only of just like controlling destiny, of winning the group because they get to play RNG. Right? Are RNG at 4-1? And Hanwha Life's at 3-2?
Yeah.
Hanwha Life goes 4-2. Head-to-head tiebreak. Battle for first is possible. Hanwha Life can top the group and be the 3rd LCK team in a row to top their group at Worlds 2021. And I believe this next game, it's going to be exciting. Now, before we head to the break, we're going behind the scenes in ISO to see what it's like for teams moments before they take the stage, thanks to our friends at Oppo.
I woke up to the morning sky first. Baby blue, just like we rehearsed. Sometimes I still have the feeling that I'm living a life of illusion. And oh, why can't we let it be? Would you ride with me? Handshake, one of a kind, homie. I be trying to vibe on the wave. I'm a big vibe on the wave. Look.
Welcome back to the State Farm Analyst Desk, where our hearts break for this Fnatic squad as they fall to Hanwha Life Esports, and with that defeat, so do their hopes here at the World Championship and making it towards the quarterfinals. On the flip side, for Hanwha, they continue their moves throughout the day to not only challenge for a quarterfinal spot, but possibly the top seed in the group. And we will get to all of that and how it might break down at the end of the day.
I'm sad.
I know you're sad.
Why I'm sad.
All right, talk to me. Why are you sad?
Talk to us.
Baited into a false sense of security in 2019
This is
and
a safe
2020.
space.
But this is not my therapy session about being an EU fan, so instead I'll focus on the draft here. I will say,
fine.
we called it out earlier, the Olaf coming in against the Renekton, you love to see it. And again, redemption for Adam in the early game, got so much support from Bwipo and Nisqy, setting him up for success, getting him ahead, and it was so great to see that, because if he had ended on that game where he got blasted and made a comeback, it would have been fine because it was RNG, but you always want to show more. And this is Adam on a comfort pick really showing up. The problem is, Olaf is a very simple champion, and if you ever play a complicated fight that isn't just Olaf running at a backline, it becomes very difficult. That said, early game fantastic.
Yeah, so credit where credit's due. When we were talking about the top lane matchup and we mentioned the fact that Morgan is jumping towards that Renekton quite often, you had called out the possibility of the Olaf. It does come through. But Raz, one of the other things that we had talked about was with Fnatic on blue side, priority in that first pick. The TF does end up getting traded for the Viego at the end of the day. And I'll give Nisqy a huge nod. Both mid laners were deathless for a large portion of this game, and Nisqy was working his butt off, but unfortunately it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a very difficult composition for Fnatic to work with once they got into team fights. Mostly based off of, like, if I'm looking at two champions, Olaf, who had a majority of the gold, and then, of course, Rakan. It's going to be very difficult to get to both LeBlanc and Ezreal, and they're going to make it hard for you whenever you're going into major objectives, getting just absolutely wrecked by Ezreal Q once he started to get his 3 items. And then LeBlanc, Chovy, had a huge game. And so, especially for me, when I look at one of the later team fights where Rakan was trying to react to LeBlanc coming in, Chovy plays it well, heads on back. So now Rakan wasted his ultimate. He needs to use it in a very short time. Goes for the Renekton instead, right? So while it was a great use of that timing, you could just see that Fnatic found it difficult to get these fights onto the backline.
And so many of these fights were a little bit scrappy and a little bit all over the place. Vsta, earlier today we heard Nisqy talking about it. They were kind of just playing spot the inter. In this game it was Vsta. Vsta got caught out repeatedly, but ultimately became inconsequential as we got later and later into the game because HLE cleaned up their team fighting. They did come together. So while in these messier, scrappy exchanges, I feel like Hylissang was such a big factor over the course of the game as LeBlanc got stronger and stronger, as everyone in HLE got stronger and stronger. Rakan gets progressively less tanky, and everything you do becomes progressively higher risk. This is what you highlighted, Raz, where the ult is used early. Hylissang tries to make the most out of it, but Viego gets in, steals away the objective, and ultimately HLE, this is really where I feel like they completely took over the game.
Yeah, so the front half of this fight, Fnatic needed to get much more out of it. And so the fact that we used the Rakan ultimate, and then Olaf also just trying to see if he can get the kill on, finish the kill on towards the Renekton, that took so long, and so HLE was able to kind of weather the early blow and take the back half of the team fight.
And you can see the work being done by Nisqy in that fight, right? Looking for the gold card onto Deft, but it's the cleanse target, and that gave Chovy the final amount of permission he needed to come back over the wall, knowing that he can't be stunned, knowing that he can now do the damage to finish off the fight.
Yeah, and I just think that the big struggle here is that Chovy is just such an absolute monster. He built up such a massive lead individually, amplified by the fact that Nisqy left the lane repeatedly to snowball at him, and the difference is LeBlanc is
that's fed ADC damage per minute numbers. That's fed ADC damage per minute numbers. 42.5%. Can we get the PGB actually back up on the screen? Because I need everyone to see. I need everyone to see the damage graphic. Look at that. Look at that. I mean, 36K is not a small amount of damage, but he is dwarfing everyone in this game.
It's the first game of the day was Hanwha Life Esports. This was Chovy Life Esports. This was the team you expect when you want to try to oversimplify this team and knock it down to a single factor. It is Chovy. It was the Chovy factor, and ultimately, like, this is him taking over a game single-handedly.
I felt bad for the observers. You know, whenever they got into the replay and you got back, it's like, oh, I guess Xin Zhao's dead. It's like Chovy was able to get the kill on that one.
10, 1, and 8 in this. I like calling out Chovy as an individual just because I'll recall all the way back to the start of play-ins. When we were talking to everybody, we were prepping the audience on what to expect with these teams. It was a Chovy-centric team. And while there have been wins that as they've grown and come alive here in the group stage that have been full team efforts, this was once again returning to what we know them for. But Raz, I got to push us forward into this next matchup because Hanwha Life steps right back on the stage against RNG, and FLICKR already set the stakes for us in the close of this previous game. It is the fact that they can now challenge for the top seed in the group. They could be the third LCK team to get out as a #1 seed. LPL's got to be shaking in their boots.
Stop it. I'm gonna put on the LPL representative hat here and say that I don't want to see it happen. I don't think it's gonna happen. I think that like the 3 LCK representatives, another year of group stage domination. I think RNG is a really strong team. They have a really good early game. Their team fight's strong. I will say, though, they were put in their place earlier today by Fnatic. So that's going to leave a mark. And I wonder if they have to have been looking through that VOD and just making their team fights a lot more solid.
Absolutely. And I think so much, again, is going to come down to the draft in terms of what they can get. Cryant, again, Twisted Fate, such a strong pick for him, has been so accessible despite its popularity in the tournament. Does Chovy try to run this matchup back? I personally think RNG will probably ban LeBlanc to limit that option. And then again, we come back to Morgan. And I feel bad because I just feel like I keep putting a spotlight on this guy, but it's very feast or famine. We've seen great games. We've seen games where it's kind of fallen apart. And I think he really has to show up against up here against Zhao, because he might be in a situation where he has to play on an island again. He needs to do what he did against Chovy, weather the storm, because
Gala has been a monster. Now, so was Deft. Both these Aphelios games were out of this world, but letting Gala get ahead comfortably when there probably will be a TF, if they opt not to ban it, that feels like a death sentence.
I mean, there are so many stars on RNG. It's going to be tough if they're playing at their highest level for Hanwha to come out on top. But as we await that next game, I do think it's important for us, understanding that Fnatic still has one more game to play here in the group stage, to celebrate what they've already done here in the group stage. While they will not be able to advance to the knockout stages, this is a team that, again, was dealt the worst possible hand when it comes to their circumstance here in Iceland. And I think what has changed between round robin 1 and round robin 2 for this squad, the way they have come together, the way that they have shown resilience, passion for the game has been phenomenal and should be celebrated.
Absolutely. And I think as a kind of final note, as we'll get to talk more about Fnatic and podcasts, et cetera, kind of off broadcast and later, is that they had an incredibly hard year. This was a year of rebuilding. Spring sucked. Summer was a slog. They played more games in playoffs than they did in the regular season. They came in, they had a rough week 1 with not the roster that they wanted to play, but they made the most of it. So Fnatic fans, you can be disappointed. You have high expectations for your organization, but don't put that disappointment on this team because they played phenomenally.
Ditto on all of that. Very well said. After the break, RNG look to secure their top spot in Group C as they face off against Hanwha Life Esports. We'll be back in just a few.